Kamehameha I, also known as Kamehameha the Great, full Hawaiian name, Kalani Pari Ich Wohi o Kalaikuni Kilikui Kamehameha o Alani I Kai Wikapu Kauai Kali Holy Hokunui Akia, conquered most of the Hawaiian Islands, formally establishing the Kingdom of Hawaii in 1810. By developing alliances with the major Pacific colonial powers, Kamehameha preserved Hawaii's independence under his rule. Kamehameha is remembered for the Kanawari Mamalaho, the law of the splintered paddle, which protects human rights of non-combatants in times of battle. Birth and early life. There are differing versions of Kamehameha I's birth. Hawaiian historian Samuel Kamakau published an account in the Kāna Pepekuoka in 1867, which was widely accepted until February 10, 1911. The version written by Kamakau and held by Fornanda was challenged by the oral family history of the Kaha family as published in a series of newspaper articles also appearing in the Kuoko. After the republication of the story by Kamakau to a larger English reading public in 1911 Hawaii, another version of the story was published by Kamaka Stillman, who had objected to the Nutpepper article. Her version is verified by others within the Kaha family. Parentage. Kamehameha is considered the son of Kioa, founder of the House of Kioa, and Kekuiapoiwa II. Kioa and Kekuiapoiwa were both grandchildren of Kawaiki Kaiali Iokamoku, Ali Nui of the island of Hawaii, and came from the district of Kohala. Hawaiian genealogy notes that Kioa may not have been Kamehameha's biological father, suggesting instead Kahekili II of Maui. Either way, Kamehameha was a descendant of Kawa through his mother. Kioa acknowledged him as his son, and this was recognized in the official genealogies. Birth, concealment, childhood. The traditional meal chant of Kika, wife of Alapainui, indicates that Kamehameha was born in the month of Ikuwa or around November. Alapai had given the child, Kamehameha, to his wife, Kika, and her sister, Hakau, to care for after the ruler discovered the boy had lived. Samuel Kamakau, in his newspaper article writes, "It was during the time of the warfare among the chiefs of the island of Hawaii which followed the death of Kawa, chief over the whole island, that Kamehameha I was born." However, his general dating has been challenged. Abraham Fornanda writes in his publication, An Account of the Polynesian Race, Its Origins and Migrations. When Kamehameha died in 1819 he was past 80 years old. His birth would thus fall between 1736 and 1740, probably nearer the former than the latter. A Brief History of the Hawaiian People by William DeWitt Alexander lists the birth date in the chronological table of events of Hawaiian history as 1736. At the time of Kamehameha's birth, Kioa and his half-brother Kalani were serving Alapainui, ruler of Hawaii Island. Alapainui had brought the brothers to his court after defeating both their fathers in the civil war that followed the death of Kawaiki Kaiali Iokamoku. Kioa died while Kamehameha was young, so Kamehameha was raised in the court of his uncle, Kalani. Unification of Hawaii. Prophecy has it that the man who moves the Naha stone would be the one to unite the islands. Many have tried and failed to get the stone to move from its original spot, and those who have tried were of high-ranking Naha bloodline. Kamehameha was of the Niaupio descent, and Olulani believed Kamehameha was not worthy of attempting to move the stone. There is also another story found at the Hilo Library, that Olulani, high chiefess of Hilo, wife of Kamamauhili and other high chiefs, chiefesses, high priests, was brought together by high priest Keokunui, a Kanala of Kauai Hare, to prophesy over the child Kamehameha. Olulani then introduces her son Kawaiki Kona of Kia village as the younger brother to Kamehameha, so later they would not fight. In the gathering of the Ohana for unity, Kawaiki Kona chooses the side of Kamehameha I over his father Kamamauhili. Kamehameha ignored all negativity, and in the end, not only had he moved the stone, but legend says the stone had been overturned. Kamehameha went on to unite the islands through a series of hard-fought battles. Hawaii Island, raised in the royal court of his uncle Kalani, Kamehameha achieved prominence in 1782, upon Kalani's death. While the kingship was inherited by Kalani's son, Kawalero, Kamehameha was given a prominent religious position. Guardianship of the Hawaiian god of war, Kukurili-Moku, as well as the district of Waipio Valley. There was already hatred between the two cousins, caused when Kamehameha presented a slain Ali's body to the gods instead of to Kawalero. When a group of chiefs from the Kona district offered to back Kamehameha against Kawalero, he accepted eagerly. The other story is after the prophecy was passed along by the high priests and priestesses, high chiefs and chiefesses. The fulfilling of the prophecy, by lifting the Naha stone, sealed Kamehameha as the fulfiller of the prophecy, but other ruling chiefs, Kawimauhili, the Mahoe and other chiefs were defiant of the prophecy of Kapoukai, and the high chiefs of Kauai and supported Koala even after knowing about the prophecy. While the 5 Kona chiefs supporting Kamehameha were Keeaumoku Paparaiahi, Kawahilukaluarapana, Keku Haupio, Kamaiamaku and Kaminawa, knowing the prophecy was true, defended Kamehameha as the unifier Kana Iirapuni. The high chiefs Kawimauhili and Keeaumoku were by genealogy the next in line for Ali Inui. Both chose the younger nephews Koala and Kamehameha over themselves, great-uncles. Kawalero was soon defeated in the first key conflict, the Battle of Mokuoai, and Kamehameha and his chiefs took over Kanoiki responsibilities and sacred obligations of the districts of Kohala, Kona, and Hamakua on the island of Hawaii. Kamehameha's prophecies included far more than the island of Hawaii. It went across and below the Pacific Islands to the semi-continent of Aotearoa, with the counsel of his favorite wife Kahumanu and father High Chief Keeaumoku, senior counselor to Kamehameha. Allies came from British and American traders, who sold guns and ammunition to Kamehameha. Major factor in Kamehameha's continued success, so the prophecy, was the addition of the Kauai chief Tiana and Captain Brown, who used to be with Kalani, guaranteed Kamehameha unlimited gunpowder from the Chinese connection and the formula for gunpowder: sulfur, saltpeter, potassium nitrate and charcoal, abundant here in the islands. 2 Westerners who lived on Hawaii Island, Isaac Davis and John Young, became ohana by marriage and hanai of Kamehameha and trained his troops in the use, maintenance and repairing of firearms. Olowalu Massacre in 1789. Simon Metcalf captained the fur trading vessel the Eleonora, while his son, Thomas Humphrey Metcalf, captained the ship Fair American along the northwest coast. They were to rendezvous in what was then known as the Sandwich Islands. Fair American was held up when it was captured by the Spanish and then quickly released in San Blas. The Eleonora arrived in 1790, where it was greeted by Chief Kamaiamaku. The chief did something that the captain took offense to, and Metcalf struck the chief with a rope's end. Sometime later, while docked in Honuraula, Maui, a small boat tied to the ship was stolen by native townspeople with one of the crewmen inside. When Metcalf discovered where the boat was taken, he sailed directly to the village called Olowalu. There he was able to confirm the boat had been broken apart and the man killed, after already having fired muskets into the previous village where he was anchored, killing a number of people. Metcalf took aim at this small town of native Hawaiians. He had all cannons moved to one side of the ship and began his trading call out to the locals. The people came out in the hundreds to the beach to trade, and canoes were launched to answer the call to begin trading. When they were within firing range, the ship opened up large and small shot at the Hawaiians, massacring over 100 people at once. 6 weeks later, Fair American was stuck near the Kona coast of Hawaii where Chief Kamehameha I was living. He had decided to attack the next western ship over the offense of being struck by the elder Metcalf, and canoed out to the ship with his men, where he killed Metcalf's son and all but one of the 5 crewmen, Isaac Davis. Kamehameha took Davis into protection and also took possession of the ship. The ship Eleonora was at that time anchored at Kealakekua Bay, where the ship's boatswain had gone ashore and been swiftly captured by Kamehameha's forces. Because Kamehameha believed Metcalf was planning more revenge, Eleonora would wait several days before sailing off, almost assuredly without knowledge of what had happened to Fair American or Metcalf's son. Davis and Eleonora's boatswain, John Young, tried to escape, but were treated as chiefs, given wives, and cared for well enough to become comfortable with their fate and their lives in Hawaii, Maui and Oahu. Kamehameha then moved against the district of Puna in 1790, deposing Chief Kamehameha. Keokuahuila, exiled to his home in Kau, took advantage of Kamehameha's absence and led an uprising. When Kamehameha returned with his army to put down the rebellion, Kiowa fled past the Kilauea volcano, which erupted and killed nearly a third of his warriors from poisonous gas. When the Puukola Heiau was completed in 1791, Kamehameha invited Kiowa to meet with him. Kiowa may have been dispirited by his recent losses. He may have mutilated himself before landing so as to make himself an imperfect sacrificial victim. As he stepped on shore, one of Kamehameha's chiefs threw a spear at him. By some accounts he dodged it, but was then cut down by musket fire. Caught by surprise, Kiowa's bodyguards were killed. With Kiowa dead, and his supporters captured or slain, Kamehameha became king of Hawaii Island. In 1795, Kamehameha set sail with an armada of 960 war canoes and 10,000 soldiers. He quickly secured the lightly defended islands of Maui and Molokai at the Battle of Kawela. The army moved on the island of Oahu, landing his troops at Waialae and Waikiki. What Kamehameha did not know was that one of his commanders, a high-ranking ali named Kariana, had defected to Kalani Kupala. Kariana assisted in the cutting of notches into the Pali mountain ridge. These notches, like those on a castle turret, would serve as gun ports for Kalani Kupal's cannon. In a series of skirmishes, Kamehameha's forces were able to push back Kalani Kupal's men until the latter was cornered on the Pali lookout. While Kamehameha moved on the Pali, his troops took heavy fire from the cannon. In desperation, he assigned 2 divisions of his best warriors to climb to the Pali to attack the cannons from behind. They surprised Kalani Kupal's gunners and took control of the weapons. With the loss of their guns, Kalani Kupal's troops fell into disarray and were cornered by Kamehameha's still organized troops. A fierce battle ensued, with Kamehameha's forces forming an enclosing wall. By using their traditional Hawaiian spears, as well as muskets and cannon, they were able to kill most of Kalani Kupal's forces. Over 400 men were forced off the Pali's cliff, a drop of 1,000 feet. Kariana was killed during the action. Kalani Kupala was captured some time later and sacrificed to Kukailimoku. Kamehameha wanted to win the hearts of the people. After the victory Kamehameha not only cared for his own warriors but for the warriors of his opposition. He helped replenish the island of Oahu by repairing kalo patches and planting more sweet potatoes. In April 1810, Kamehameha I, king of Kauai, became a vassal of Kamehameha, who therefore emerged as the sole sovereign of the unified Hawaiian Islands. Angry over the settlement, a number of chiefs plotted to kill Kamehameha I with poisoning at the feast in his honor. Isaac Davis got word of this and warned the king, who escaped unharmed quietly before the dinner. The poison that was meant for the king is said to instead have been given to Davis, who died suddenly. Ali Nui of the Hawaiian Islands. As ruler, Kamehameha took several steps to ensure the islands remained a united realm even after his death. He unified the legal system, and used the products collected in taxes to promote trade with Europe and the United States. Kamehameha did not allow non-Hawaiians to own land. This prohibition remained in place until the Great Mahel of 1848. This edict ensured the island's independence, even while many of the other islands of the Pacific succumbed to the colonial powers. The origins of the law of the splintered paddle are derived from before the unification of the island of Hawaii in 1782, when Kamehameha, during a raid, caught his foot in a rock. Two local fishermen, fearful of the great warrior, hit Kamehameha hard on the head with a large paddle, which actually broke the paddle. Kamehameha was stunned and left for dead, allowing the fisherman and his companion to escape. 12 years later, the same fisherman was brought before Kamehameha for punishment. King Kamehameha instead blamed himself for attacking innocent people, gave the fishermen gifts of land and set them free. He declared the new law: let every elderly person, woman, and child lie by the roadside in safety. It has influenced many subsequent humanitarian laws of war. Young and Davis became advisors to Kamehameha and provided him with advanced weapons that helped in combat. Kamehameha was also a religious king and the holder of the war god Kukurilimoku. Vancouver noted that Kamehameha would worship his gods and wooden images in a heiau, but he originally wanted to bring England's religion, Christianity, to Hawaii. But missionaries were not sent from Great Britain because Kamehameha told Vancouver that the gods he worshipped were his gods with mana, and that through these gods, Kamehameha had become supreme ruler over all of the islands. Witnessing the devotion Kamehameha had, Vancouver decided against sending missionaries from England. Later life. After about 1812, Kamehameha spent his time at Kamehameha I, a compound he built in Kailua Kona. It is now the site of King Kamehameha's Beach Hotel, and the starting and finishing points of the Ironman World Championship Triathlon. As the custom of the time, he took several wives and had many children, although he would outlive about half of them. Final resting place: when Kamehameha died on May 8 or the 14th, 1819, his body was hidden by his trusted friends, Hopali and Hululu, in the ancient custom called Hanakla. The mana, or power of a person, was considered to be sacred. As per the ancient custom, his body was buried hidden because of his mana. His final resting place remains unknown. At one point in his reign, Kamehameha III asked that Hopali show him where his father's bones were buried, but on the way there Hopali knew that they were being followed, so he turned around. Family. Kamehameha had many wives. The exact number is debated because documents that recorded the names of his wives were destroyed. Bingham lists 21, but earlier research from Mary Kawina-Pukui counted 26 wives. In their book Kamehameha's Children Today, authors Charles Allo and Jerry Walker list 30 wives, 18 that bore Kamehameha children, and 12 that did not. They state the total number of children to be 35, 17 sons, and 18 daughters. While he had many wives and children, it was his children through his highest-ranking wife, Keopuolani, that would succeed him to the throne. In his book, Omana, Understanding the Sacred and Spiritual, Malcolm Nah is of the opinion that Keopuolani supported Kara Humanus ending of the Kapu system as the best way to ensure that Kamehameha's children and grandchildren would rule the kingdom. Pedigree chart. Bibliography. E. John Papa, Pukui, Mary Kawina, Barara, Dorothy B. Fragments of Hawaiian History. Honolulu. Bishop Museum Press. ISBN 978-0-910240-31-4. Kamakau, Samuel, 1961. Ruling Chiefs of Hawaii. Honolulu. Kamehameha Schools Press. ISBN 0-87336-014-1. Kamehameha, Lily Carla. Native Land and Foreign Desires. Honolulu. Bishop Museum Press. ISBN 0-930897-595. Kliger, Christian. Moku'ula, Maui's Sacred Island, Honolulu. Bishop Museum Press. ISBN 1-58178-002-8.